if you really stop and realize what an alien abduction report entails, it's this whole alien abduction thing is really just people having a flashback to when they're being born. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booyah! You're sticking around the nest. Episode number 10 now. Finally, after all these episodes, we reached number 10. We started with 0, and now we're at number 10. There's nowhere but up, going up from here, right? So, today we're going to talk about what's been going on recently with the whole Nipsey Hussle thing, because this has prolonged for quite some time now, man. I wasn't thinking that this was going to go on for this long, especially because Nipsey Hussle was still an up-and-coming rapper. I mean, this is the first time that a rapper that hasn't been well-established has been widely recognized for just the legacy that he left behind. And I think it's pretty impressive because, like I said, this guy Nipsey Hussle, he wasn't a big artist at the moment that he died. Like, he was still up-and-coming. So this impacted me a lot because being a person from Los Angeles and learning about his story and what he did for the community, it intrigued me a lot. And I'm sure it intrigued a lot of people from my area, from the whole Los Angeles community. And so that's why I want to talk about it. So let's just jump right into it, man. Nipsey Hussle was this, like I said, this up-and-coming rapper that left a massive cultural footprint in the Los Angeles community. And the reason why he became so popular after his death is because during his short-lived, well, not short-lived because he's been rapping for quite some time now, but during his prominence, I'd say he preached nonviolence through his music, and this is very important because he's from South LA, this area that's been widely known for rampant violence and all this gun violence going on. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, this guy Nipsey Hussle, he was just trying to do well for the community through his music and by trying to inspire people. But aside from that, he also did quite some interesting stuff. He was working on some interesting stuff before his untimely death. For example, he was working on a STEM program that was gonna bring in kids from the community to study and to learn at this facility. And he also owned businesses businesses that hired people from the local area. And aside from that, he was also rebuilding projects in the South LA area. Luckily, the guy that has been suspected to have killed Nipsey has already been arrested, as most of you guys already know by now. And he's still pleading not guilty. I mean, I doubt he's gonna get away from that. And I hope that if he did do what he did, that he serves his time in jail. And like I said, this left a cultural impact on not just the community, but I mean in the world. Like, famous people were saying that. Well, they were pretty much paying their respects. Like Rihanna, Steph Curry, John Legend, all these people that are already well known and well established in the music industry. They were paying their tributes to this person that was still an up and coming rapper. But like I said, the reason why he was such an important figure is because of what he preached and because of what he did for the community at large. Apparently, there's now conspiracy theories that have arisen after his death. This is because he was supposed to come out in a documentary, and I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know this, but he was supposed to come out in this documentary with, I'm not sure if it was Vice or this other company or business. He was supposed to come out in this documentary that investigated Dr. Sebi, otherwise known as Alfredo Bowman, something like that, Alfredo Bowman, but he was widely known as Dr. Sebi. So this guy, Dr. Sebi, he was this herbologist that was controversial. He was a very big name in Honduras. He was controversial because of the things that he preached. He was known as a pseudo doctor, or someone that practiced pseudoscience, so a science that's not really established in the medical field. Um, he made these bold claims, such as having found a cure for HIV and I think cancer. Well, let's check this guy out, man.
When I told my mama that I had cured my 13 AIDS patient, she said, they gonna get you. They gonna get you.
So let me stop you there. You said I cured my 13 AIDS patients.
Yeah.
So you had 13 patients.
Yeah. Remember that you live in a society that support a certain philosophy and a certain system.
And you were telling people through your advertising that you can cure
AIDS, sickle cell, lupus, herpes, blindness, diabetes, paralysis, and others.
Okay, so they come knocking on the door and
so knock on my door and took me to jail.
He found a cure for cancer and I don't know what else, but it's kind of crazy how they could link this death to this doctor simply because he was doing a documentary for, well, here's why they linked it to this doctor. Well, and like I said, he was doing a documentary he was filming for a documentary that investigated this man's life, and the reason why this is a possible conspiracy theory is because a lot of people also I'm not sure if conspiracize is a word, but a lot of people theorize that this guy, Dr. Sebi, was also killed under custody of the Honduran officials because like I said, he was a controversial figure. Although he died of pneumonia, a lot of people said that Dr. Sebi is linked to this whole conspiratorial shit that was going on, that they killed him because he had found all these cures to these terminal diseases that are or have been profited by the big pharmaceutical companies in the world. So yeah, like, I don't know if this guy really was killed by the officials of Honduras or whatever. It makes more sense to me that he died of pneumonia because he had a weak immune system. Because this guy, he, aside from the fact that he preached herbology or whatever, he also preached not eating meat and eating plants and vegetables and stuff. And if you're not doing a vegan diet correctly, it could be very difficult to acquire the nutrients that you need to just sustain a healthy immune system. So, yeah, damn, what's going on out there? Anyways, so yeah, it's hard to say if he was really killed by the police or all these Honduran officials, but what I believe is that this man inadvertently, I mean, he was old too, aside from the fact that he was a vegan, he was also old, so it makes more sense to me that this old dude died of a weak immune system because of his age and because of, I mean, his diet. Yeah, I mean, it makes more sense to me. I hope it makes more sense to you guys. But the fact that people can connect Nipsey Hussle's death to this Sebi guy, Dr. Sebi guy, it just shows to me, like I said in previous podcasts with my friend, that people like to point to conspiracies when they don't understand something, or when they look to other explanations for something that seems unexplainable, or something that is very impactful in someone's life. That's why people make all these conspiracies about aliens, about the government being corrupt and always intruding on our day-to-day lives. But really what it is the fact that we don't have the knowledge that we want to have at the moment of our questioning or whatever. So I really don't believe that Nipsey Hussle was killed in this whole, because he was caught in this whole Dr. Sebi documentary thing. I really think that it was just a dispute between him and some other guy, and things got out of hand, and then, well, you could see the end result. It's very disturbing that people point to conspiracies, because I have a lot of friends. Well, I have a couple friends that whenever things go wrong or things seem weird, they point to conspiracies, and that to me shows more than anything that that they just lack the information or knowledge to really fully analyze the situation or the sphere or the severity of the whole thing. So, yeah, Dr. Sebi, man, crazy ass dude. Nipsey Hussle caught in this whole thing. Makes no sense. In fact, one of the more interesting things about alien conspiracies is the alien abduction thing. A lot of people across the nation have reported that they got abducted by aliens. I don't really know the statistic on the number of people that have reported being abducted by aliens, but I mean, and it's kind of strange that I'm talking about this, but one of the prevalent theories at the moment, or explanations for why people claim to have been abducted by aliens, is because they're having these vivid flashbacks of when they were being born. It's a crazy explanation, but it makes a lot of sense. When you look at the footage of people that get abducted by aliens, they're really just in the room freaking out. A lot of people record themselves, and because, like I said, we now have all this access to cameras and to technology that can just capture the moment whenever we want. So people like to set up cameras when they think they're being abducted, and then they end up just seeing themselves freaking out in the bed. And that's okay. Going back to what I was saying about the whole getting abducted and how that relates to being born. If you really stop and realize what an alien abduction report entails, it's this inability to move, or this great fear that overwhelms the person while they're experiencing this, that deters them from acting in a coherent, conscious, and just well structured way, or I guess, or whatever. So that could relate to how when you're being born, you're a baby and you don't really have control of your motor skills and of your body and your muscles and so forth. And then after this sudden paralysis and awakening during the middle of the night, you see strange figures around, right? That's what they report, that they see these alien-like figures, these distorted people with weird eyes and long bodies. Those could be the doctors. I mean, that's what this theory suggests. And the reason why everything looks distorted and blurry and fuzzy is because when you're born, your eyes are still not used to being used, right? You're still, it's the first time you're using your eyes. It's the first time you're using any of your tools that detects any kind of sense. So it makes sense to me that this whole alien abduction thing is really just people having a flashback to when they're being born. Another thing is when these people claim to have been abducted, they report being placed on a table or something, and then they're being like analyzed with medical equipment, and all these medical procedures are going on, and that could really just be the hospital or a hospital bed or whatever, whatever doctors do when they're delivering the baby. So I mean, it makes more sense to me that that's what's going on. I know this is a big tangent from the whole Nipsey thing, but I'm using this to kind of illustrate how conspiracies about things that seem absurd come about. Because, like I said earlier, conspiracy theories arise from when we don't have knowledge on a specific subject or a specific scene or a specific whatever you want to call it. So we just point to our first guesses. And that's why conspiracy theories are so popular, because they're usually outrageous, they're usually over the line, and they always leave the crowd wondering whether these things are true or not. Most of the time they're not, but sometimes they're true. The more truthful conspiracies are actually kind of boring. But the ones that haven't been investigated, the ones that haven't been proven yet are the most interesting, because they haven't been proven. Like the JFK conspiracy, that could never be proven. The moon landing, when we first went to the moon, that could never be proven either. And and then this alien thing, which, I mean, it's hard to disprove it because a lot of people are convinced that they do get abducted by aliens and shit. So, yeah, it's crazy. Other people were saying that Nipsey Hussle was killed by the FBI, the police, and all these other crazy conspiracies. So, like I'm saying, all these things that kind of just relate to having no idea what's going on contribute to the establishment of conspiracy theories, man. In other news, I'm going to report a little bit about what's going on here in Boyle Heights, because after all, this is what this podcast is about. It's about the community. So, the Wyvernwood apartments, you guys know them. They're orange. There's a bunch of them. A lot of people live there. There's this Miami developer, this Miami investor guy that's going to come in and invest in these properties and add an additional 3,800 units. So it's going to go from 1,200 units to 4,000. They're going to add condos and high rises and whatnot. So anyone that's living in the Wyvernwood apartments, they need to really keep up with the news there, with what's going on. So the developer guy says that the reimagined Wyvernwood site will offer a variety of modern housing options for all income levels, creating a dramatic improvement over the aging and outdated buildings on the current site. So you guys could decide whatever you guys want about that. I really don't have any political opinions about this, or any kind of like any opinions on this. So anyways, guys, back to what we were talking about. Nipsey Hussle, this guy, a legend, left behind a legacy. This is gonna be the shortest podcast of my life. See you guys next time. That was a wrap for this episode, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys leave a comment, like, whatever, like, follow me on Instagram, whatever. See you guys later.